Hey everybody, this is Mr. Haig, and in our series of careers here we have Dr. Robert Rothbard, right?
Right.
Over at Rancho Optometry, who I've known for almost 20 some years, an amazing eye doctor. You're never not busy. So today's session, we're going to talk about, well, life and career of an eye doctor. And who to better than we know him as the loving Dr. Bob. And again, I've known you for such a long time, and you never ever stop seeing patients. Is that true?
I'm working 5.5 days a week. I'm almost seven. I'm 69 years old.
Oh, you look great.
Not bad.
Not bad, I'd say. Yeah, not bad at all. And so, how did you start? Take us through your journey from, I know you're from New York, just like I am.
Right.
So, take us to that journey when you're a kid in New York and maybe you saw beautiful eyes and you're like, oh, I want to take care of them. And then
No, I was
how did it
actually
start?
a junior or senior in high school, more like a junior. Wanted to become an optometrist. It wasn't blood and guts, and it was in the healthcare field. So I was really guided on that path and went to. By the way, just to mention, I took the SATs, Jim, and I don't
Uh-huh.
think anybody scored lower than I did, especially in verbal on their SATs and got to optometry school. Interestingly enough, so much for the
Every hope.
SATs. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
we took Regents in New York. And anyway, I went to Albany. Didn't look like I was going to get in because my grades weren't that good. Then you talk about a chance call. I made a call to my friend, or my parents' friend, their son, who's in optometry, says, Bob, you want to get into optometry school? Come out here a year undergraduate, and you'll be a lot easier to get in because it was like 7-1 as far as applicants to positions and education. I feel sorry for the young people today. Education was so much cheaper back then, Jim. I
I
mean,
would
it's cheaper for
imagine.
you and a lot cheaper for me. State University of New York, which is equivalent to any UC system out here, was $600 a year tuition.
Wow. Those are the good old days.
Yeah, well, they were good. It was good for that anyway.
Hmm.
So anyway, I got through. I got into optometry school. Decided to come down to California and practice. Passed the state boards though in Massachusetts, New York, and California. Worked for the Broadway. Worked in a private practice for a year and a half. Then went to work as an employee for the Broadway. Then I opened my practice in 1989.
Okay, so that's quite a journey. So how long from, say, college to eventually getting your first check as an eye doctor?
Oh, I would say I got out of school in 81. I would say very little when I worked for that doctor. I only dealt with patients whom I saw. Then I worked for uh, the Broadway. It was controlled by an optometrist, the Broadway department stores,
Yeah.
and was there for several years, from 81 to about 89 or 88, and then opened my own practice.
Okay, so from 81 to 89, you went through college, and then did you have to go to medical school or is it
No,
called
I went to optometry school. I
optometry school?
graduated in 81. I went 3 years undergraduate, 4 years graduate. So before my 25th birthday, I was done.
Okay, so that's actually a little bit easier. Do you have to go through a residency or some sort of
Well, you
internship?
can, you don't have to. I did an internship between my third and my fourth year in
Mhm.
functional vision training in New York City at SUNY, State University of New York.
Okay. And so you were practicing being an eye doctor, you said at 25.
Yeah, I got my license in September of 1981. That would have made me 25.
Okay, 25. So wow. So that's
Pretty good.
quite remarkable. I mean, I know that regular medical doctors, they probably don't see a paycheck until they're, in their 30s.
Easily.
Yeah, easily. So, but at any rate, so what is your day like as an optometrist? I mean, you get up in the morning, you have your cereal, and
No,
what do you do?
no, I work out every day, Jim.
Fantastic. You
I
look
mean,
it.
every day. I don't
Mhm.
miss one. Sometimes I work out in the evening. and
Mm.
I try to relay that kind of information onto my patients. You know, developing skeletal strength from resistance can help. And I learned this from a doctor named Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, Lyon. She's an MD. The importance of it because starting in your 40s, you start to lose muscle mass. Now, when you lose muscle mass, the problem is you lose a way of metabolizing sugar. And later on in your 50s, 60s, and 70s, I think even if you don't have regular diabetes, type 2 or type 1,
Hmm.
you can develop what they're calling type 3, which is extra sugar leading to the brain, which can cause dementia and Alzheimer's.
Wow, that's very interesting. And so, do you think that dementia and Alzheimer's and all those late stage diseases, they're related to the sight in some way?
Related to the sight, not necessarily uh, related to the health of the person, absolutely.
Okay. And so you're saying right now your specialty is, I guess, gaming, right? I mean, your
Well, functional vision,
functional vision.
which I would define as this, or behavioral optometry, how what you do affects your vision and how your vision affects how well you perform.
Okay, so now we have a whole generation here on social media. We're all looking down at our phones. I'm talking 7, 8 hours a day. It's worse to me, that's worse than watching television when you and I were young.
Well, it's also bad in the fact that these guys don't go out to play.
Yeah, well.
So, is there an increased chance in nearsightedness? You bet. One of the things they try to deal with in dealing with what's called myopia control, or trying to get kids so they don't become as nearsighted as they might have been, is to go outside and play. There are other things too, because one of the problems with being nearsighted, and the higher nearsightedness you have, the bigger risk you have for detached retina, perhaps glaucoma,
Hmm.
and of course, like I said, the nearsightedness, uh, those are bad enough right there.
Right. So let's go back to your day. So you get up, you exercise, and then you come to work, I guess what time? 8, 7 in the morning. And you said you get off at 5:30 or 5-ish, right?
Something like that, yes.
How many patients do you see a day?
How many patients do I see? I'd say 12 or 13. Those are exams. There are people who come in for
Hmm.
contact lens checks. There are people who might have eye infections and so forth. But there's a lot we do, Jim. It's a great profession for me because it's a profession in which I uh, am able to relate to a patient. It's a very humanistic profession for me.
Hmm. And I would imagine, I mean, it's you deal with a lot of trauma in the eye. I would imagine like
Not as much trauma,
Mhm.
but I mean, we do remove foreign bodies from the eyes. If it's a bad enough trauma where the person got smacked, I'll usually send them out to a specialist to make sure there isn't any detached retina. Or
Mhm.
sometimes, if there's problems with scratching of the eye, instead of actually patching it, which you
Mhm.
could do, we put a bandage contact lens in there, which
Okay.
acts like a band-aid if they should get a foreign body, we have to remove it, or they scratch the eye. Much better than patching.
And so do you perform surgery or are you licensed to perform
The
surgery?
only surgery, which really isn't surgery, is removing foreign bodies.
Okay.
But we consult with the surgeons when it comes to cataracts and whether they want to go through laser surgery, because I know their history and I can
Mhm.
give an honest opinion whether they're good for it or not.
And so what are the technologies involved in optometry? I mean, I know there's laser, and is there any use of AI in optometry?
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
What the heck happened? Something went out here. Well, anyway, you got enough flight, Jim?
I got enough light. I see you loud and clear. You're shining
Okay.
bright yourself.
Yeah. So anyway, technologies and AI, there's some this more and more uh, medical technology that deals with the health of the eye and what it could possibly mean. If I see that, I would refer that out. AI, as far as writing stories about people, coming up with, for example, I make images of, for example, did your dog eat your glasses? Come to my office for marketing purposes, and it created a beautiful image of a dog. or if your baby gets a hold of your glasses, they made an image of that too. So I use technology, the AI for that, writing reports more and more, writing the outcomes of why certain things exist, and what the outcomes, for example. For example, if your eyes aren't aligned, how might that affect your golf game?
Okay.
It was a
So,
very good little synopsis of what to do.
so isn't vision relate it's impacted by genetics? I mean, if your parents are
Sure,
far,
it is.
it is? Okay, okay. So
Yeah,
I'm just
sure
wondering.
it is. Especially disease. But
Hmm.
there's something called epigenetics, Jim, where it's genetics, but it's the environment that can kick it off.
Okay, okay. And so how much post-study does an optometrist have to, I would imagine with the
Yeah,
technology,
yeah. Well, we get 50, we have to do 50 hours every 2 years.
every
You
two
pick the
years?
subjects, but most of them have to be with disease of the eye.
Okay, so I mean, I would imagine the technology is really coming out every now
Well, part of
every
it, and
time.
especially when it comes to some of the surgeries that they're doing to help correct glaucoma, help to correct for vision. I don't know if you're really correcting glaucoma, but you're sure able to treat it well.
Hmm. So do you have like salespeople come into your office and say, "Hey, I got this great new machine, and you can do this and that and this and that, and it saves
No,
you."
because I tell you, a lot of the machines, when I deal with the people, and people look at my stuff, which is certainly not technologically super advanced, they say, wow, look at this stuff. But usually when it comes to buying pieces of equipment, like for my glaucoma test or peripheral vision test, you usually go to the shows, the optometric shows for that.
Hmm. Okay. And so so you have a staff, obviously.
Right.
What do most optometrists, who do they really need to help them? Because you can't do everything yourself.
Well, right. You have people who organize, make the appointments,
Hmm.
actually work with the patients for frames, adjust the lens, the frames also, run a couple of ancillary tests. Uh, but most important, Jim, is how you get along with individuals.
Hmm.
That's the most important things. You know, we're very well rated on Yelp.
Yes, you are.
And
By the way, Dr. Bob has, I think out of what, over 2,000, something like that. You got something like a 4.9 out of 5?
no, there's 246 or
204.
247 reviews,
Uh-huh.
or a 4.9,
Ooh,
which lists as
that's
a
perfect.
five, Jim.
Well, of course. I mean, my God, you
And we thank every person who writes a review. We don't just respond to bad ones, which I think is crazy as far as doctors. Write a good review, thank them. It's human. It's how you get along with people, which is the most important thing in this profession.
I think that goes along with just about anything. I mean, how you get along with people. I
Nah,
mean,
not really. You look at some
no.
of these. You look at some of these practices that are private equity, and they
Uh-huh.
just want to get you in and out. Or some of the HMOs, they
Yeah.
just want to get you in and out. They can care less. In fact, they lose money by treating people.
Now, now do you deal with insurance? Do you take insurance?
Yeah, most of them we do. They're PPO plans. In other
PPO
words,
plan?
you,
Okay.
you get a reduced fee, but that's okay because a lot of times they bring in people or refer people that aren't on the insurance,
Hmm.
or that they want something that isn't covered by insurance. So this is really interesting. You could change lives by what we do.
Hmm.
We can save lives by what we do. I showed you the video on where the person actually wound up having an aneurysm. We
Hmm.
didn't know what it was in the brain, but we knew there was something wrong with it. And if they would have waited about 6, 7 more weeks, they would have died because
Mm.
that aneurysm. In fact, the aneurysm had burst on the operating table. An aneurysm is an odd pocketing or weakening of the blood vessel, and
Right.
if it breaks, it could cause death,
Wow.
especially in the brain.
And have you ever experienced an unfortunate situation like that where somebody died at your care or
Nope, we saved them.
they? Okay. Well, hey, Hollow, awesome. And you have your passions. You're an avid New Yorker, okay? I'm
Yep.
from Queens. You're from the, what are you from the Bronx? Or are you from
I'm from
Manhattan?
Long Island, but
You're
I
from
don't
Long
go into
Island. Okay,
Long.
so you're from the ritzy part of the city.
No, it ain't. We had riots in our schools before New York City had riots.
Yeah, but still, I mean, you talk about riots. I mean, becoming from Queens, there's like something happening every day, I guess.
Yeah, especially a neighborhood called Flushing, right? Where
Oh
the
my
hell,
God.
where the Mets are? Who would name a place called Flushing?
Hey, I lived like literally like 2 blocks away from Flushing. I lived in Rego Park. And boy, that was tough living over there. So eventually my dad had to get us out to New Jersey
Uh-huh.
because it was safer.
Well,
And
you're a lot younger than I.
well, not that much, but I mean, look, we're both New
Oh,
Yorkers,
I
so
mean, I just turned 69, Jim.
I'm going to be 57, so we're not that far
12
behind.
years.
That's okay. Hey, that's okay. And you've had a fascinating career. And, there's very few people that I know in this world that really are living what they're meant to live. I think that if we live a purposeful life,
Yeah,
then good things come.
there was an expression that there's two reasons you're born, or something like this.
Hmm.
First is you're born, and the second time is finding out why you were born.
Really? I
Yeah.
think I was born to be a teacher. I really do. I think I'm
Uh,
born to do what I'm doing right now. That's why, the good and the bad, I deal with it. And the same thing with you. I think you're born to be an optometrist. And I wanted to touch upon that is that we should never go for money. I don't think you would ever want to be an optometry just for the money of it. I mean, you want to do it because the connections you make.
well, at first you do, but right
Mhm.
now it isn't the money. I deal with day trading stocks, but it's been pretty good. I got a good staff. They're conscientious. They're
Hmm.
caring, and a good part of the reviews are for them.
Okay. Yeah, they're good people. You have a staff of what, 3 people, I think, right now?
Yep. And by the way, Katie got a job as a nurse in
Okay.
yeah, it's called karma. We took care of her as far as keeping her on payroll for about a year and a half, 2 years while she was in nursing school, so she'd be able to receive medical benefits,
Nice.
and we pay for them.
Wow. You're the man. You're the man. So that's really amazing. And so now what are some of the, I guess, challenging parts of being an optometrist? Yeah, I mean, you mentioned sometimes you go through a lot, you see a lot of trauma and you try to
No, the challenging part is running a business, Jim.
is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's the biggest part of it. The overhead, the what minimum wages. Uh, it's a challenge for me, but as far as the patient care is concerned, we get that's the best part of it for me.
Hmm.
Being able to deal with problems, saving lives. There's sometimes now we have three generations from a family in the office here. Because don't forget, I started practicing in '89.
Hmm. Okay. And oh, really? That's so
So we have the grandparents, the parents, and the kids.
so
Where the
you've got a
parents to the
longevity there.
kids 20, 25 years ago.
Wow. That's really so you're definitely where you're supposed to be then, for sure, if that's the case.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I haven't been a teacher for that long. I've only been a teacher for 10 years. But already I had students, I've had their brothers, I had their siblings, in some cases I've had their younger cousins, it's really crazy. But going back to optometry, and so the challenges of running the business. So what do you do to maintain that business? I know you socialize and you network a lot. So tell us about that.
Well, I socialize. I'm on a few of the YouTube. I've got a YouTube channel, not that big.
Hmm.
People like you asking me to do a podcast, that's really great.
Uh-huh.
Being part of the Chamber of Commerce, that's really great. And
Hmm.
just mixing it up. If I go to a sports bar or whatever, I talk to people. They sometimes come in. But also, with being part of the Chamber, we do business with them and they do business with us.
Okay. And so I mean, but most doctors in the medical profession, they don't have to really network. They just, I guess the insurance tells them to go where they need to
Yeah,
go.
if it's an HMO, they certainly don't
Hmm.
have to network.
Okay.
But we're still private and we still get paid per patient.
Okay.
And it's pretty good. Uh, I'm going to something with some of the chamber people tonight and looking forward to that. And It's just well known in there. And Jim, there's going to be so much more. I have my Facebook fan page for New York, which is New York Experience with a
Okay, remember
D.
that, everybody. New York Experience. It's a Facebook page, so
Yeah, it's a
go
fan
check
page.
it
You got to
out.
go to pages, and there's a D on the end of experience.
Experienced.
And we have 16, 17,000 followers.
And how often do you go back to New York?
This time, well, quite a bit.
Uh-huh.
I didn't go the first part of the year, but I was there for 4th of July. I was there for Labor Day, and I'm going back for Christmas.
Okay. No place is better in the world than New York during Christmas.
It's a great city.
It's a great city. Yeah, yeah, like I said, I was there till I was 12 years old, and so still fond memories. Of course, the Yankees and the Mets and and
Dude, the
I would be able to
Mets.
see the lights of Shea Stadium just right across from my apartment that
Yep.
we still live. It was really interesting. And they were in Flushing, I think, or were they? Yeah, Flushing.
Flushing
Yeah, they were in Flushing. Yeah, and of course,
on
I
the
don't know.
7 train.
I have no idea where they are now. So yeah,
They're right
Bob
across.
said,
They're right in the same parking lot.
oh, are they? So Bob said, Dr. Bob said 7 train. So for those of you not in New York, we have a subway system, and we have the different kind of
And
train.
that's the Flushing line.
That's the Flushing line. So yeah. So at any rate, it has been a remarkable journey for you. What advice do you give for people who want to go into optometry? Do you have anything you want to add? And
Well, it's much more diverse. A lot of it is medically oriented. People deal with diabetes, people who have problems, certain pathologies. I deal with uh, how, like I said, what you do affects your vision, looking at screens and so forth. To me, that's 90% of the population
Mhm.
are looking at screens. How many people have actually eyes that are diseased, especially if they're under 50? Very few. So, if you want to go through optometry, make sure it's what you want to do.
Mhm.
Talk to some optometrists, see what they enjoy. Of course, it's a lot different now because of the insurances, but there are so many different fields. Now there are people who just deal with, I mean, dry eye syndrome is such a big thing, where it wasn't that big a thing when I was going to school. I mean, dry eyes existed, but
Mhm.
now there's ways of treating it. And I've used a certain drop that's worked pretty darn well for that. But there are other situations where it's really quite bad. And by
Mm.
the way, Jim, I'm going for my second cataract surgery next week.
Oh, wow. So that should be
And
interesting.
yeah, it should be. The first one worked out great.
Okay. Well, we look forward to hearing about it, and at least I'll talk to you about it. So, well,
Do
Dr. Bob, it has been a pleasure to talk to you, and
you have any other
definitely
questions, Jim?
I think you've covered everything because I mean
Yeah.
the whole idea was to get people in who want to become an optometrist and just showing us the good life that you're having. So basically, obviously there's the challenges. You have to get into optometry
And
school.
by the way, with any of your students or whatever, if they ever want to stop by the office, let me know.
I definitely will pass that on for sure. Maybe I'll have you come in as a guest speaker using Zoom, and they can ask you questions about that.
Sure.
We do have a medical academy here, and so for sure, I think that it's been a remarkable journey. And the bottom line is, like you said, we have to get along with everybody, and
Yeah,
nobody
Gary
understands.
Vaynerchuk or Gary V, which some people know who they are.
Yeah.
He had a great comment. He called it legacy versus currency. And how many people are going to show up to your funeral? When you put forth this effort and part of the community
Uh-huh.
and dealing with people as you deal with their family,
Mhm.
there's a lot of camaraderie there. And I feel blessed in being able to do it.
Well, I don't want to sound grim, but I have a funny feeling there'll be thousands of people at yours. Ooh, there goes my lights. Just as I talked about funerals, the lights go off. Oh, is that
There
for
you
you?
go, Jim. It's
There we
just,
go. Turn it
as
back
they
on.
say in Yiddish, it's for shared. It's meant to be. But
Yeah.
anyway, Guy, all the best, and we'll go out for dinner for don't
Yes, we
go
will
to
for
San
sure.
Biagio's.
Oh, absolutely. New York pizza, everybody. San Biagio in Upland,
Yeah.
California, the
Yep.
best. All right, Dr.
Okay.
Bob. Take
Thanks a
care.
lot.